So we have a function in KQL which is basically the render. So this actually helps to visualize the data in different chart format. Like there are some common visualization options available, which is time series chart where you can show the trend over time, and pie chart. It's great for categorical comparison, and also there is a bar chart available where you can compare values across different categories here. So as an example, this is the syntax. We need to pass the table name, summarize operation by column, and render chart type. But here, as an example, if you want to render a time series chart, this query counts the storm events per day and visualize the result in time series chart here. So the query here, storm events, summarize count of events by bin start time equal to 1 day for every day, and then render this into the time chart. So let's have a look into KQL how this looks like. So storm events, and then it is giving a summarize, and this can be count of events. So you can also use count events by bin and then start time by 1D here. So I'm not specifying any column name here, that's also fine. If I want to run this one, I can also directly run this one. This is going to give me the result in a tabular format. You can see the heading is showing up here count. So we can just specify the name here like we already discussed this. So event count equal to, then the heading will change to event count. Now the same thing, if you want to add this into a chart, then you need to use this here render, and then this has to be time chart. There are multiple chart options available, so I'm like to select here time chart. So if I run this one, this is going to give us in this visual here. This is really cool and fast. So you can see the highest number of visual events has happened on 24th of February, and then the next one is on 1st of December 2007. Actually this is on 1st of December, right? So this is how quickly you can visualize the thing, how and what has happened during that period. That's really amazing. There are other formatting options available, so we can also customize that based on our need here. And this option, which is pin to dashboard, is really an interesting thing. I will cover this during the demo in Microsoft Fabric here, which I'm going to cover in our future video. You should not have to miss this one. I really telling you that. The reason is because this is going to be the real-time dashboard which is happening at KQL, and we can just pin this one inside to your Power BI dashboard. Power BI dashboard, right? So you have this your regular report. You can also pin your real-time data. That is how amazing is going to be work on that. So I will cover that in future. You have to look into that to get amazed by yourself. So moving on here. So this is how we can able to visualize the thing into this one, and we have some other options as well, rendering a pie chart. So for this one, summarize event count by states here. Instead of this one, we can just use here by state, and then we can just specify the chart to be pie chart. It is the most favorite one during the olden days. Okay, so here it has given me a maximum of all the state which is available here, and now the Texas has the maximum number of event which has occurred during the data what we have. So the people in Texas, they need to be aware, be in safety in this period. So even though this is the past data, so not sure whether this has happened real or not, but this is how it is. Alright, so this gives us information. Now rendering a bar chart, how this will work like. So as an example, we can use the total damage, sum of damage property by state here. So this time instead of this one, you can just use total damage. So is equal to sum of damage property, okay, by state, and this can render in a bar chart here. So an interesting thing is going to happen, don't leave for now. So now this is giving me this result on this particular path, even though what we have just saw on the previous one is a pie chart. I mean in the pie chart, like Texas has the most number of events, but here the damage property is actually showing up in a different state, which is California. So it means even though the number of events is high, but the damage property is less in Texas. So now if you want to combine those two things also, we can also do that. But before that, let's first pick here the top 5 thing, which is the top 5. I just want to have the top 5 by damage property. You can specify that total damage, which is basically the column name which I mentioned here. So let's remove this. So top 5 by total damage. If I run this one, this is going to give me this top 5 itself: California, Oklahoma, and then Kansas, Texas, and Missouri. So Texas actually comes under the 4th one. Now if I want to add another measure here, which is comma, and then event count. So event count is equal to count of this one. That's it. So now if I execute this one, this is not going to give me any result here. The reason is because if I mouse over here, it's actually showing me this event count, which is on the blue one, 898, and this the number is huge, so that's the reason it is not showing up properly here. So in order to show that, I can just divide this into million. Yeah, this is now million. Now if I run this one, I can able to see some information. That's pretty amazing. So on California, the number of event is 898, but the damage is 1445 million US dollar. Whereas in the Texas, the number of event is 4700, but the damage is actually 536 million. So it means even though the number of occurrence is high in Texas, but the damage is less, whereas California has less number of events, but the damage is really high. That's good. So this is the top 5 based on total damage here. Now if I just reverse this between event count and run this one, the top 5 California is not even available on the top 5. That is really sad actually to be said, because even though it's not in the top 5 list, even it is not in the top 10 list of the number of events occurred, but the damage is actually the highest one. That's really the worst event storm has been happening in California during this period as per the data what we have here. So this is how we can get the most insight out of the data, and then we can take our decisions out of it so that we can help the people, help our organizations as well. That's great. So this is what we are going to talk about this here. So if you want to visualize an average damage property per hour over the last 24 hours, in that case we can use the summarize average damage property by bin start time equal to 1 hour, render into time chart. But here there is a var class, so start time equal to hour 1 day. So it's going to give us the data only for the last 1 day if you want to visualize that. So this is what we are seeing is total data. But if you want to visualize the current scenario which is happening at the right 1 or 2 days, like if there is weather is bad and if you want to visualize the thing on the real time basis, then you need to apply this where conditions. The time ago is 1 day here, so that it can reduce the data and you can visualize the things more rapidly here. So visualize total damage caused by events in the top 5 states. So that's the reason I use top 5 here. So automatically just taking up top 5 by total damage here. So we have seen about take 5, that's going to take any 5 values. We have seen about order by, so it's going to sort the data, but here is top 5 is going to order and then pick up the top 5 values from that. So that's the difference between that thing here. So this is all about this visualizing the renders, how you can visualize that. And if you want to export this one, then you have this option also available. So on this part, you have this table visuals, right? So here you can just right click on this part and then you have the option to export to CSV or export to Excel. So if I click on export to Excel, for example, then you have this open here, and if I click on open an Excel file, this is going to give me this data here. That's amazing. So it has given me this clear picture about that. Even though this has not given me this insight what has happened here, the JSON format, even though that is not also even required for me, but this is how it is. I can share this information to the other people here. Similarly, you can right click here and then copy as HTML table, copy as data table, copy with headers and paste. So multiple options are available. That's really cool. So color by value here. So explore results. So if you click on color by value, it's going to color this value based on this scenario. Okay, so there are multiple options available. We'll explore that in some other videos, but not for now. I hope you got some clarity about how these things works. If you like this video, just hit the big thumbs up button. If you are new to this channel or if you haven't subscribed yet, just click on the subscribe button and also press the bell icon to get the latest notifications. So this is the end of the beginner series on this KQL. I hope you got a lot of information about this series. So share it with others, keep learning and keep sharing. Thank you. See you in the next series.